Stitch selection. Your machine has a variety of basic sewing stitches from which to choose. This is the pattern selector dial on the 4411. This is the pattern selector dial on the 4423. Always make sure your needle is in the highest position when turning the pattern selector dial. It can be turned to the left or to the right to select a stitch. Stitch length. This is the stitch length dial. It allows you to adjust the distance between the stitches. Stretch stitch selector. Stretch stitches are only available on model 4423. Rotate the stitch length dial to the S position to engage the stretch stitches. Stitch width. This is the stitch width dial. It allows you to adjust the width of the stitches. Needle positions. This is the needle position dial. It allows you to sew in the left, center, and right needle position. Reverse sewing. This lever lets you sew in reverse. This is the pressure dial. The presser foot pressure of the machine has been preset and doesn't require any manual adjusting for most fabrics. However, for very thin fabrics, the presser foot pressure may be loosened by turning the screw counterclockwise. For heavy fabrics like sewing on denim or canvas, you may tighten the presser foot pressure by turning the dial clockwise. Straight stitch. Straight stitch is the most frequently used utility stitch. For straight stitching, use the general purpose foot. Select straight stitch with a stitch length of 2.5. Ensure the width selection dial is on 0. Place the fabric under the presser foot, lower the presser foot, and slowly start sewing. After a few stitches, press the reverse sewing lever and sew a few stitches. Release it and continue sewing. At the end of your seam, repeat the reverse sewing action. Raise the needle to its highest position. Pull the fabric toward the back and cut the thread with the machine's thread cutter. Zigzag stitch. Snap on the general purpose foot. Select the solid-looking zigzag stitch. Change the stitch length to approximately 3 and the stitch width to 4. Select center needle position. The zigzag stitch is used for finishing or overcasting raw fabric edges to prevent the fabric from fraying. The presser foot must be placed along the fabric so the needle stitches along the left side of the fabric, while overcasting the right raw fabric edge. The zigzag also looks great when used as decorative satin stitch. Simply select a short stitch length for satin stitching. For creating special effects, you can also adjust the stitch width while sewing. Stretch stitches. Only available on model 4423. With the S selected on the stitch length dial, any stitch in blue on the stitch selector dial can be used as a stretch stitch or decorative stitch. Other utility stitches and their applications. Multi-stitch zigzag. Snap on the general purpose foot. Select the zigzag second on the right from the straight stitch. Change the stitch width to approximately 4 to 5 with a stitch length of 2. Select center needle position. The multi-stitch zigzag is ideal for attaching elastic or overcasting. It's also perfect for darning tears. Reduce the stitch length for darning. Buttonholes. For model 4411, your machine includes an easy-to-use 4-step buttonhole. Attach the buttonhole foot. Mark your fabric with a fabric marker so you know exactly where to sew your buttonhole. Slightly reduce the upper thread tension by moving the tension dial to a lower number. Set the stitch width at about 6. Adjust the stitch length dial to somewhere under 1. Use a backing or stabilizer for fine or stretch fabrics. Notice the small markings on your buttonhole foot. These should be lined up with the top of the buttonhole drawn on the fabric. Lower the presser foot so that the buttonhole center line marked on the fabric aligns with the center of the buttonhole foot. With the needle in highest position, follow the 4-step sequence from one step to another with the pattern selector dial. When moving from step to step, ensure the needle is raised before turning the pattern selector dial. Model 4423 includes an easy-to-use automatic buttonhole. Slightly reduce the upper thread tension by moving the tension dial to a lower number. Set the stitch width at about 6. Adjust the stitch length dial to somewhere under 1. Place your button in the back slide of the buttonhole foot. Slide it closed until the button is firmly held in the slide and snap on the foot. Pull down the buttonhole lever and gently push it to the back. While holding the top thread, start sewing. Cut the top thread after a few stitches. Your buttonhole will be sewn fully automatically in one easy step. When finished sewing the buttonhole, raise the needle and set the machine for straight stitch in left or right needle position. Also, select straight stitch with the pattern selector dial and reset stitch width to 0 with the stitch width dial. Sew 3 to 4 stitches. This will secure the stitches so that the buttonhole won't unravel. For sewing on buttons, lower the feed dogs. Snap on the button sewing foot and select the zigzag stitch. Change the width dial to approximately 4 to 5. Position your fabric and button under the presser foot so that the holes on the button are aligned parallel. Lower the presser foot, turn the hand wheel towards you, and make sure the needle clears both holes of the button. If not, adjust the stitch width accordingly. Sew approximately 10 stitches across the button. Change the stitch to straight stitch in the left or right needle position. Change the width on the stitch width dial to 0. Sew a few stitches in one hole to secure the button. On behalf of our dedicated team, congratulations on the purchase of your new Singer sewing machine. Singer. More than just sewing. Singer, standing for innovation, superior quality and remarkable quality for money.